Now, I've seen you study sports science.
Yeah, yeah.
What does that entail, and how does that help with your training?
Well, I did my sports science degree, obviously for 3 years. That was my undergraduate degree, and then went straight into doing a PhD from there. So, a PhD is basically it's like a 3 4 year long dissertation. So I've got to do about 5 projects in whatever my specific area is, and I've also got to do an 80,000 word thesis to accompany that as well.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty full on. Yeah.
And that obviously it takes a hell of a lot of time out. Time. How do you fit training in as well?
Uh, Make it work. I'm from in uni from like 9 till 6 most days, and then most of my training starts in Northampton from 7. So I'll leave at 8 to go to uni for 9, leave uni at 6 to get to training for 7, and then train from 7 till half 9.
And that's every day.
That's every day. Yeah.
Right. So the stuff that you're studying, what will you hope to get from that once you've passed everything and once you've got your PhD?
Right.
What does that give you as far as a workplace?
You could be I want to personally be a sports science lecturer.
Right.
And also, one of my supervisors is a sports science lecturer and also doing his own research as well. So getting pretty big grants from the NHS and doing pretty well off of that, and getting to do his own research as well in his area whilst lecturing. So doing pretty good. That's what I want to do.
And will that give you a chance of actually being able to compete in MMA full time as well?
Yeah, that's. I think what I'm going to do. I spoke about this with my dad a little bit. So after this, I might take a sabbatical, take a year off, and pretty much hit MMA as hard as I can. Really train full time, several times a day, and then just see where it takes me. Because there isn't one which I want to do more than the other. I love MMA and I love being an academic as well. So but it will come to a point, I think, where I'm going to have to make a decision. But I don't have to make that decision yet. So I'm just training hard in both areas.
So as it stands right now, a very cheeky question. As it stands right now, if someone came up to you and says MMA teaching, what would you say?
Wow.
Just
The thing is that I wouldn't stop doing that now to be successful at MMA, because doing a PhD, that's there for the rest of your life.
yeah.
You know what I mean? With MMA, I could just theoretically say I was in the UFC now doing pretty good. I could trap my hand in the door or trap my hand in a window or something, completely bust my hand, never really recover from it. Or that same goes for any injury, and then that's it, dead. No more MMA, and the only other option you've got is coaching. And so then you're completely kind of cut off career-wise if you get injured. So I really trying to be smart about it, need that backup as well. But if I had to choose between one or the other, I can't. But I don't know at the moment. But I'm managing to juggle both things. So it's not as if MMA is taking a bit of a hit because uni's hard. I'm still training pretty much as hard as I can right now, really, for this fight. So it's not impeding anything.
And as far as what you're doing your PhD in and everything, how does that help towards your training and your fights? Obviously, does it give you a chance? Do you have a better understanding of weight cuts and certain areas of training?
Yeah. So basically, my access to all the most recent science literature, and there's actually a little bit coming through now on weight cuts and certain things like that, is really good. So that's useful, and pretty much everyone around me is ultra intelligent in like this area of exercise physiology and just general nutrition and stuff. So it's kind of hard for me to do anything drastically wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but to be honest, in terms of like specifically weight cuts and things like that, I've always done that kind of. Actually, I was just about to say I've always done that pretty easily, but I've had some horrific ones, to be fair. But lately, it started going quite well. So
now, moving on to Chris Miah. In the last interview where we caught you dogging, you said that you've become quite matey with Chris. Not so much now.
probably taken out of context a little bit, not matey. You know, I'm trying to. We probably spoke a little bit, you know, on Facebook, but nothing too much really. Yeah, he deleted me off Facebook actually recently.
Really?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh, obviously, it's probably down to the fact that you're fighting each other,
Yeah.
or that he just didn't like you.
Hopefully down because we're fighting each other, but yeah, no, I can understand. Stuff like that doesn't really bother me though, no, anyway. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say we were mates. We'd probably get on if we were training together. Hopefully, we can train together after this fight because we don't live too far away from each other, and we all kind of train within. We've trained with the same group of people.
Yeah,
you know, makes sense.
And what are your thoughts on Chris Miah as a fighter?
There's not that much to see really. For most of his fights, they've been on, I think, Sprawl and Brawl show.
Yeah,
Seems to be a pretty low key local run show. So if you look at 3 of his 4 wins, they're from guys who are like 0-6, 0-4. So, but from what I have seen, he looks like he's someone you want to avoid putting on his back early, and I'm sure he's improved his striking, but there's not too much on his striking really, especially in the fight with Mark Hanley, where it didn't really last too long to get anything useful out of it. Dangerous though. Dangerous can, you know, as we've seen, can finish the fight pretty quickly if you give him the opportunity.
Where would you say he's more dangerous?
Sorry,
where would you say he's more dangerous?
Submissions. I think if you're just say if he takes you down and you try and get up and you give him your head, I think if you let him wrap his hands around your neck, you know, then you're in trouble. He's got a good body type for like dart chokes and anaconda chokes and those kind of things.
He's obviously his head coach is Kevin Webb, that's a black belt under Bradley Steamer.
Right.
Oh, right. Well, I've just given you a bit of info there, so I'm sorry, Chris, if you see this. But obviously, what kind of things have you done to combat where he's more dangerous?
It's hard for me to answer that question without giving too much away, you know. But to be honest, the guys that I train, obviously drill wrestling loads, we spar wrestling loads. The guys that I train with are all in around 70 kilo kind of range, and there's some sick wrestlers there, some really good wrestlers. So my wrestling's pretty much on point. Just making sure I'm training all round, really. I know it's a bit of a cliche answer, but I've worked seriously hard, and most of all, I've really worked on my strength and condition for this fight, because I know that's going to be important. But I think I had to address some strength issues generally in my MMA kind of career. I think I've done that pretty well. I think that'll help me quite a lot in this fight, because he's not the smallest guy at flyweight, you know. So, but I reckon I'll address that.
Now, obviously, your last fight was against Mark Handley. His last fight was against Mark Handley, which means that he's been out of cage for longer than you. Do you think that gives you some form of advantage?
I think so, but like you said, conversely, I haven't fought for a little while either, so it might cancel each other out. It's been a good while since I last fought as well. The main advantage really in terms of being out of the game is that he did have a knee injury. I'm pretty sure he had to have surgery on his knee, so that would have taken him out for a while. But you know, he started this training camp up not very long ago, so he's had plenty of time to prepare for it. I don't think it will inhibit him too much, really. From what I've seen, he seems to be training hard. So.
Obviously, unfortunately, you have a loss on your record. He hasn't. He's still undefeated. Does that kind of thing play on your mind? Is that something that he could enter the fight and you could use to your advantage?
No, it doesn't play on my mind at all, because if you just look at the guys that he's fought, you know, like I think most of the guys that I fought would have at pro level would have given him a really, really tough fight and probably would have beaten him, especially Mark Connor.
Yeah.
I can't see him now where he's out beating Mark Connor. And I stole around with Mark Connor and, you know, eventually got out grappled in that. But if you look at the guys that I've fought and look at the guys that he's fought, then I think it puts me, and definitely an experience advantage.
Is Mark Connor one that is that a fight that you'd like to go back to and try again, or
Yeah,
are you just done with that now?
no, I'm not done with it. Obviously, I want to fight him again soon, but I need to take some time to address the issues which made me lose that fight. You know, I was just I think he cut down dieting and weight cut wise. He cut down from 70 kilos. That's massive to cut down to 56.5 kilos. That's like
Yeah.
I'd take my hat off to him, but he was just too strong for me. Too strong for me in the fight. But by the time we meet again, I would have addressed my strength flaws, I guess, which I've done pretty well lately since that fight. So yeah, I'd always fancy my chances, if I fought him again, especially in a full-size cage as well. The cage is really small and it really played up to his style.
But see that now that this is something that's obviously a big test for you as well, because Chris Miah is actually dropping down weight class, so he's got to lose a further £10.
What, drop him from his last fight?
Did he? I thought he last fought at bantam. Did he? According to Sherdog, he fought at bantam.
No, it was a flyweight. I'm pretty sure it was a flyweight.
All right, but obviously, okay then. But he is still a bigger guy that did fight at bantam.
Yeah, sure.
So is that something you can you use that to your advantage? Like take the fight into deep waters, like at the late second, third round. Do you think it will tire out easier?
Like I said, there's not that much to. It's all speculative. I'm working seriously hard, and I really think that my cardio would just be off the chart. I mean, I'm in insane shape already now, and I've still got ages to go yet until we fight. I would be more than comfortable dragging this into like a deep water third round war, and I can't see him keeping up with me cardio wise. I really can't, especially from how I'm performing now. And if I'm in anywhere just a little bit better shape than what I am in now come fight day, I can't see him keeping up with me cardio wise. I just can't see it at all.
Are you someone that constantly keeps in shape, or do you like train low level, and then when it comes to game plan time and you get in your camp, you have to cut a lot of weight and become a lot fitter?
So when I'm not fighting, I always train. I always try and do all the MMA classes still. But so the only difference really is I might do, if I'm not fighting, I'll probably train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, maybe Saturday as well. But just do the MMA classes and some sparring. But now I have to fit in strength and conditioning and do a lot more boxing with that as well, and that's what makes it a lot harder. Was there an extended part to your question? I can't remember.
I can't remember. We'll leave it at that.
Hopefully I answered something useful. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, if you could call a finish, what would you call it?
Striking's looking sick at the moment. I think TKO knockout.
TKO knockout.
Yeah.
Or call around.
Speculative. Third round. I think my striking will start coming into its own when his arms start gassing out a little bit more. So maybe second and third round. I think I'll just keep going stronger. I think his arms will start to gas out, and I'll start seeing some more openings in the first round. Then anyone's dangerous, and I think you'll start to see me in like you've seen some other fights start winning more as the fights going on, start opening up more and landing more higher percentage shots.
Are you a game plan fan? Are you pro game plan, or do you go in there for your fight and he has to figure you out, or do you have to try and figure that guy out in order to fight him?
I do have a game plan, but you do need A, B, C, D game plan really.
Yeah.
I do have a game plan for this fight, which I think should be executed quite well. But because I'm training so much in all the areas, I don't have to rely on that game plan. If it doesn't work strictly, I should still be okay. But I like to game plan, but just it's got to be to an extent, because how much can you really control in the fight? You should be ready in all areas.
Yeah, and this looks to be like Fight UK's last pro show. unless they do a couple next year to fit in with the tournament. Is that quite upsetting for a pro fighter like yourself that's fought on there a few times?
Yeah, I love Fight UK. Fight UK is brilliant. It's one of those. Fight UK knows they know what they are. They don't try and big themselves up to be anything that they're not, and they really do try. And I do like the fact that they try and focus on the amateur guys and try and, because their stable of amateur fighters is really impressive. It's a lot more impressive than a lot of other shows. In terms of title defences and stuff, yeah, it's quite upsetting, really. You know, when I spoke to Alistair, for those who don't know, Alistair's excuse me, sorry. Alistair's the promoter of that show, along with Dave Ross.
Yep.
They told me that they probably were going to focus more on the amateur side of things. It was a bit, oh shit, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to defend this title now, but yeah, I've got to win it first, so we'll start worrying about that later.
But at least you get to keep the belt without having to defend it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go.
And the old 8-man tournament thing. What do you think to those kind of fights? Have you ever? I don't think you've ever fought in a tournament where you've had to fight more than once a night, have you?
No, I haven't. No, I love that format though. That pride style format.
Is that something you take part? Obviously, Cage Warriors are doing it for the pros now, so.
Yeah. No, I love that format. I think it's so much more entertaining for the fans as well, because it's a reason for the fans to stay there at the show. If you notice with most shows, there's a big group of guys. Their guy might be the first pro fight on, and then you notice after this fight, then the crowd's like 50% less than what it was when you started.
Yeah.
So I think the tournament format, it kind of combats that a little bit, but conversely, it is brutal for the fighters. So if you have a really hard fight, I'd have to. It'd be hard getting used to that kind of thing. Once you've had your fight, you just like relax. But it'd be weird not being able to do that. But yeah, I do like it, and I think from a fan perspective, it's awesome.
Okay, well, I just want to say thank you for your time, especially on a Saturday where it's probably one of the only days that you get a chance to relax a little bit. Is there anyone that you'd like to thank or any sponsors you'd like to mention?
Yeah. So. Before I forget, I do have to thank the University of Bedfordshire. They do support me a lot. And if anyone is watching this thinking about doing any kind of sports science degree, then University of Bedfordshire is the way forward. I'd like to thank Danny Batten, Lee Edwards, everyone at BST, and obviously my family as well, girlfriend, all my friends, everyone, basically. I don't have any sponsors to speak of yet, wink wink.
So you're fully advertising the fact that you want a sponsor?
Very much so. Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So any sponsors, Josh Foster. There you go. All right, I just want to say thank you very much, mate, and thanks for your time and good luck.
Yeah, thanks for your time as well. Cheers, mate.
All right.